Hello and welcome back. This is Daniel, and we'll continue where we left off in our scene. So we decided we'd go ahead and model the hair. So let's start with that. First of all, we'll start with the main part of the hair here. So we'll start with a new mesh. It doesn't matter which one it is. Just enter edit mode and delete all the vertices. And then once there's nothing in the object, but you're still in edit mode, just create a new vertex. Let's say here. Keep in mind that the hair in particular on the reference is not very accurate, and you have to do lots of work out of just seeing the viewport later on. Well, I will switch to the side view and find a good spot for it along the third axis that we haven't adjusted so far. And then all I will do is connect it to the top here where all the hair goes together, and maybe adjust the same point from this view as well. And now I'll go ahead and subdivide this and adjust this curve with my subdivisions. In case you have overheard those pastimes that I mentioned, my shortcut Alt-W is just a custom shortcut that won't work for your subdivisions. You have to either go to W and click on Subdivide, or set the shortcut yourself by right-clicking this one and change the shortcut. In case you're not aware of those changes yet, check out part 0 of this tutorial. That's where I mention all those modifications in my Blender that you should know about. So we'll give it a little curve here to make it look more interesting, and this is also where we start to now make this a more volumetric. So what we want is kind of this shape, so it should start and end very sharp, and we can do that by, let's just start by extruding it, and I guess towards the end we'll just have to scale down and get rid of those loops again with some faces, but we'll see how we have to do it. So maybe first of all, I think the normals are incorrect. You can kind of see that. So in edit mode, select everything and press Ctrl N to recalculate. So now we have a better preview of what it actually looks like. And you can also apply already the subdivision, add a subdivision surface modifier to give yourself a better idea of what it looks like. And we need to make it, give it this V-shaped profile that hair normally has with these kind of figures, or at least I figured it looks good, so that's how I approach it. Now make sure you don't really dip into the head anywhere. We need to fill quite some volume anyways, because from the side view you see how far it actually goes away. It's quite hard to actually find out how to do that, but it's possible. So let's see, yeah, we want to continue this a bit longer downwards. I guess we did it a bit too short. Maybe like that. I mean, it's not the main strand, so we'll have another one go further down, but for now that's good. And we'll make it a bit higher. And I don't know, I guess you see already the reason why I'm not such a great fan of modeling hair. I mean, it's long work. You really have to be patient, and do this for every single strand. There is no cheating or something. You can't get around that. And I'm wondering right now about how to finish these as good as possible. I mean, one way would be just filling in a triangle here, but I'm not sure whether that's a good idea or not. I would say let's just leave it as it is for now. In the end, we might combine those and have a different opportunity for joining them. Or actually, I have an idea. So we want this upper part to be sharp anyways, so what I will do is create a loop here and slide this one down a little bit so that we have this sharp edge on top. And by having those here, we can simply fill this area with a quad and there are no problems. And later on we'll just use this to connect everything on this pole, which is always a bit of a thing I struggle with, but it's okay. Yeah, so it looks okay, I guess. We'll do the same thing down here. Let's just fill this in quickly. And yeah. One more thing that I want to try that eventually might make it look better is a solid film modifier. Let's just take a look at that. If we put that in front of our subdivision surface, well, okay, it's not that great of an idea. It might not be bad in this direction though. Well, I just wanted to take a look at it anyways. Let's leave it away for now. Yeah, so my plan was to make this part of the tutorial rather long and get through as much as possible, and it's quite boring. I don't know. Feel free to watch it, but I won't make you watch too many parts of this kind. I'll just go ahead and model as much as I can of this, and you can just skip if you feel good about that, and you can do it yourself, or you can just watch it and follow along. So the second strand that I'm modeling here is going to be probably this one here, a second rather large one, and then we'll have some in between that we'll add later. So actually here that's already too much. I'm going to delete those. Starting from here, we'll split those two strands. Let's just set them up quickly. So this one will take a little bit different curve here. It also leads towards the top of the head, where all the hair goes together. Yeah, just extrude everything towards to begin with, and then you can fill the spots and, you know, do all the other stuff like this. So I guess we can then use the same technique that we used before to get rid of some polygons to get rid of this one as well. But I mean, it's not necessary yet, but in the end we'll have to lose quite lots of polygons in a short amount of time, so let's just bring things in place by doing that. I just want to make sure that all this is not too close together. I want to smooth it out a little bit. Alright. Now you can select these four down here and do again some extrusions. I will again go to the very tip and generally to the goal, to the place where I want to reach with this strand, and then do my subdivisions, basically because that makes it easier to follow a certain curve. Yeah, it helps in some ways. So here we go. I'm going to make this a bit thicker though, and give it 2 more subdivisions here, and make sure that from all the views it's really round, and that can be quite hard. So you can see that it looks sometimes flat from a view, and from a different view it's then again a different matter. Yeah, just you might have to play around with this and figure out a good way to do that. In the end, it's not magic or anything, it's just finding out how to see the shapes and what the difference is, I don't know. So the next trend that we'll make simply starts from here and continues on. So let's just fill these triangles for now. But us having triangles here is actually not quite a bad thing, since we could use them to increase this edge here. Let's say I'm subdividing this here. Wondering how it would turn out, if the deformation would be bad or good. So this could give us a good opportunity to leave the original strand, and that doesn't look bad at all actually. I might just use it like that. So we have here a quad that looks like this, and from here we continue. Now I guess here we'll be playing a bit around with the shape of those 3 strands. We might reposition this one. So let's start by moving this tip to our goal again, which will be about here. Then scale this part up a little bit, move it around. Oh, this part is going to take forever. I mean, I'm not going to do everything in one video still. I'm probably going to split up into front part, side part, and back part, and maybe, well, I guess these parts are part of the sides. I know. But to me, at least, this is not the fun part of modeling something. I know how it is for you. I guess the most I enjoy modeling the face, but of course, if you have to get it right on the first try, it's kind of hard. So speaking as for a tutorial or something. Anyways, so I really want to get these 2 strands closer at the moment, so that you don't see these spaces in between too much. So we'll have to figure out a way for that. Yeah, so when looking at this wireframe view, you can see where polygons are kind of squished and such. So you can use that to find out a better way to place them, to make them look more even and things like that. And I also use that to bring them closer together without having any bad deformations. For some reason this one was off. I just had to adjust that quickly. And now I can even use this tip and bring things more together. Alright. Now this side looks good to me. On this side I want to do a few improvements. It's again bring them a bit closer together to fill more space. That's in my opinion really the challenge here, to really fill the space here. Sounds easier than it actually is in my opinion. So over here, well, let's see. We have here some things in the hair. We might, yeah, let's delete everything downwards from here, and let's redesign that one because that one was quite off. and think about the original design. So we'll make this even a bit wider, and this time I want to have kind of like this shape here. So it goes out, it goes in, and then curves out towards the tip. So I'm scaling it down again and closing it. And then here, this one is still to be adjusted. Well, that's obviously way too strong, but let's see. You really have to try to make everything look even. Something like that, maybe. Maybe we should just go ahead and add those two hairpins and see how they fall in place and see how they fit onto our hair. I mean, the plan is to still add one more strand starting from here as well, that goes out and really reaches to these parts. But before that, I might want to add these two, just to see how I'll manage to get those in. So let's add a cube somewhere, and oh, sorry, and go to edit mode and move it around. We will just place it in here, but before rotating anything, I want to adjust the scale of it, because it's easier to do it now instead of later. Once you have that, try to move it into place. So around here and around here, there should be one. Now let's see how we can get them into place. I guess these parts have a little bit of a curve in them, something like this maybe. And let's do the same thing for this one. Something like that. And yeah, I guess I will just squish these parts of the hair a little bit to make these hairpins fit in better. Yeah, I think it will be alright to do that. Or you could even do the opposite and erase these low parts to make this look a bit more even, as if these are really holding the hair into place. And we might have to go even a bit further and really make it look like the hairpins are holding something like this here. I guess that wouldn't be a bad idea. And yeah, something like this. Now let's finish this by just really doing something serious about the hairpins. I guess I'm just going to follow the contour of the hair. So I definitely want to start down here. Let's do the same thing with this one. So keeping track of the rotation of these is not easy, but what I like to do is I use double tap on R quite often. So you have this free rotation then. Or I use just once R to have rotation from my viewpoint. I'll make it go just to here, to the second strand. I don't want it to cover all of those. So this one, and I guess I'll add a subdivision surface modifier. And then you can play around with things and, add some loops here and there to achieve, a bit of a more solid look, depending on how you want to design this part. This here was a bit annoying. There were some problems with the mesh. Let's see if we can fix it. Yeah, so I guess it's better if we try to keep these things on the same level as it seems. Especially how it continues. And ooh, you really start to lose orientation in this setup. Oh, I see, it might be because I added a loop here and it's now not so even. Let's see if we can improve that by adding one over here. Well, it looks better now, but still this one is off. Okay, a lot better now. So we didn't do the lower one yet, so that one is still to do. I think it's yeah. I don't get the reason for this part of the tutorial. I hope it's interesting for you, really, but I'm really just recording it because all of you said in my last big tutorial that I should not skip anything, even if it takes long. You just want to have everything from the beginning to the end. So I'm doing my best, but this part is really something that takes time. And we'll have to go through all of that. Modeling a character anyways is something that takes many hours, and putting that into a tutorial is not easy. But we'll manage somehow. I just hope that it will turn out well, because normally I have the time and I can really play around with my model and try things, go back a few steps, but in a tutorial you're kind of expected to show the right way. I mean, imagine you're following a tutorial and then after spending about 2 hours on your model, I mean 2 hours of tutorial, the author just says, well, let's do everything over. I'm sure you wouldn't like that. So that's the reason why I'm also trying to avoid these kind of things. But I'm finally getting a little bit happier with the result. So it looks like now these 2 pins are actually holding the hair in place. Yeah, and you will definitely see me doing adjustments a lot. So I have this habit of whenever I see something looking not good on a 3D model, I'll just go right ahead in there and fix it and just move around a few vertices until it looks good. So there you go. You have the first 3 strands. But that's not the end of this video. We have so much to do, we can't afford to stop just yet. So I'll select the next edge and we'll continue. So let's just start very simple, make 2 extrusions. Want to make sure to reach just this outer part. This gives us roughly a guide of until where we want to have our first big strand. And I will make this one, I'll make this one a bit different. I will let it start very flat and let it go underneath everything else that we made before. So kind of like this, to really just add a bit of width to this part. That's the whole purpose of it. To connect it over here, we'll do Let's add another loop here, as we always did, and then I guess we'll just connect it the same way after we go further. So just like this somehow. And yeah, this upper part is really not the best, but I mean, especially these poles, those are not good. Just interesting. Yeah, we'll have lots of things here to see, but I guess we can live with it. It's not that bad. So let's bring things in place. We said we wanted to have it rather flat and kind of to one side. I'm trying to do that just by adjusting this top. And it looks rather good already. We just haven't done the tip yet. Keep that in mind. It's hidden underneath. So this is still part of it. So let's extrude this one a little bit and connect it to here. The wireframe view is very helpful at this point. And afterwards, I guess just extrude it once more and scale it down, and then you can close this tip as we usually do, like this. Looks like we made it. So by that we again filled a little bit of space. Now we have about three more strands to take care of. One of those should go here and then join into this hairpin as well, and maybe afterwards leave to the side and give it a bit of a messy look. And the other one will be obviously this one that we see from this side, since the side view is pretty boring still. Maybe let's start with the one I just talked about. So we need some space for it to come out of the hair. I think I'm going to add one more subdivision over here. Make sure to make it curve, so give it some variation to the original. And I might move these ones down a little bit to make sure also not to destroy anything of the structure by doing it. Yeah, so keep everything smooth, as smooth as you can. It's quite hard to keep track of every deformation. Like this. Then you can create here a spot for our new strand to leave. So I'm going to rip this apart with V and just take this, I guess, and see what happens. So if we were to move it like that, this would be another. You know what? This doesn't quite work. We need some more polygons. What we could do is use the knife tool and go to here and cut through all of these. And over here we have now n-gons, so we need to do one more cut from here to here and another one on the opposite side from here to here. Now we have again only quads. And over here more detail to work with. Now what worries me still though is that we need the same detail on the other side. Oh god. You know what, let's just undo that and we could just create loops. That's the other thing. Yeah, I think at this point finally you'll get why modeling here is so annoying. The whole complex structure and everything. I mean, it's really difficult on the one hand, but it's just hard to read really what you're trying to achieve. So as you can see, this time I have just continued extruding these two vertices here, and then I'm trying to add the sides to it. And this time make sure that you also model the side underneath the strand, because you'll be able to look at it from below as well, since this one is standing out of everything else. So when sculpting, it might actually not be that hard. I've seen once like an image tutorial where someone just took a few screenshots and put them side by side and kind of described the workflow. There is a technique in which you just create some strands and put them next to each other, like really tubes, and then you can simply merge them with dynamic topology tools and such. And that works pretty well. I mean, it still needs the skill, but here in polygon modeling we have to do everything by hand. And it's mostly free shape, and this is not easy. I mean, it's not easy the other way as well, but alright, to fill the you know, below, I'm just selecting these two and filling it for now to see what happens, and then we can, so obviously we want to make it different. I will instead select this edge here and just extrude it downwards, because we want this edge to be rather creased. Over here I'll connect it to this center below. So where is it? That's the one we extruded. This one goes to here, and then we should be able to fill it, and it looks good here. And for the tip, just continue what we did. Just have to do one more extrusion here, and then you can just fill it. And that's how you get a strand out of everything else, out of the other mess. And you can just adjust everything. By the way, here is very useful the connected proportion editing tool, since it allows you to just deform the strand that you currently selected. So it's rather useful. Also, one of the problems that I see is that since we're joining them down here, we lose our sharp edge. So by moving the two below outwards a little bit, what I just did, we improved that. Yeah, now just shape it properly, and it shouldn't look awkward. When looking at it, it should look good. So it kind of works. Great. Now, what should we do next? And I'm again adjusting stuff that I'm not happy with along the way whenever I see something. So at the moment, for example, I start to dislike everything being so sharp here. So I was trying to do something about it, but it didn't help as much as I wanted it to. Anyways, so we are even a little bit further now in our project, and let's take a look at how far we got. Yeah, we have still a whole lot to do, so hopefully we'll get a lot more done in the next part. We'll stop it now, since it's really tiring to continue talking about the same things all the time. And we'll continue this in, well, I think I said that already, that we're going to continue this. I mean, it's obvious. Yeah, you shouldn't talk while doing these kind of things. That's wrong. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day. Hope to see you again in the next part. I would suggest you just try to model your hair and spend a few hours on it. And if you manage to do it well, that's good for you. Just skip the next few parts, and if not, just follow along. Both ways are good. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.